My name is Livia Schaefer-Nanozzi. I'm a consultant at UN Habitat on technology and innovation, supporting the People-Centered Smart Cities flagship program, which aims to build cities that are truly working for people. Today I will present the 5 pillars of the People-Centered Smart City approach. They are the community, the digital equity, the infrastructure, the capacity and the security pillars. Each of them has their own playbook and a set of activities that you can implement yourself. Before we look at the pillars more in details, let us think about the state of smart cities nowadays. The concept of smart cities has evolved since the 1960s, and the backdrop of today's smart city is complex for many national and local governments. There is the privatization of public infrastructure that can reduce public oversight and the equitable use of technologies. Cities have become test beds for new, untested, and sometimes unregulated technologies, forcing local authorities to respond to disruptive trends. There are massive amounts of data created by smart city technologies that have sparked a global dialogue about surveillance, cybersecurity, and privacy. And the Internet of Things has created new opportunities for digitizing infrastructure, but has also introduced new cybersecurity vulnerabilities. And let's not forget about the persistent digital divide that prevents equitable access to digital service as well. The smart city ecosystem is consisted of many players. All of them play an important role. Taking a people-centered smart city approach requires coordinating with multiple levels of the government and integrating across multiple stakeholders, including social entrepreneurs, activists, community leaderships, the private sector, and many other players as well. The people-centered approach also recognizes the different governance configurations in different parts of the world, acknowledging that some local authorities have more responsibilities, decision-making capacity, and power than others. The approach embraces that each stakeholder plays in the development of the smart city technology initiatives and policies is really crucial to make it work for people. There are many United Nations frameworks supporting the people-centered approach, including, among others, the New Urban Agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals, especially Sustainable Development Goal 11, which calls for human settlements to be inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable, the United Nations Secretary-General Roadmap for Digital Cooperation, and the Human Rights Council session, which in 2019 adopted a resolution that recognizes digital technologies have the potential to facilitate human progress. Let's start with the community pillar. In the people-centered approach, it looks at shaping co-creation and collaboration in smart cities. This pillar addresses how local governments can work to place people and their needs at the center of this smart city development. The community pillar has 3 main activities. The first is about centering smart city activities on people needs. The second one is about grounding smart city infrastructure and services in human rights by maximizing privacy, transparency, and participation. And activity 3, which is about providing digital public goods in an open, transparent, and accessible manner. The first activity is about creating the conditions for public oversight and smart city technology, services, and infrastructure. This activity that centers smart cities around people needs is also about building dynamic public sector partnerships that finance smart city solutions developed with the community and representations of local organizations. It's important that human rights are protected both offline and online in cities to ensure transparency and public oversight. It's also important that partnerships with the private sector should balance risk and control And government should procure smart city technologies to meet a demonstrated public need, expressed through participatory processes. The second activity in the community pillar is about grounding smart city infrastructures and services in human rights. It has the goal of establishing public commitments to transparency, privacy, and inclusion across the digital services and digital infrastructures. It transforms residents from consumers to active participants in the development, evaluation, and decision-making process of the technology used in cities, and leverage digital tools and platforms for public participation. It is important that human rights are critical inputs to public policy and public service provision. Cities should incorporate principles such as privacy, equal access, freedom of expression and representation, and local governments should create open and participatory opportunities for residents to shape the development of the smart city technology. The third activity in the community pillar is about digital public goods. It focuses on understanding the adoption of digital public goods standards and evaluates what services your municipality already provides as a digital public good, identifying opportunities to make them conform with digital public goods standards, and identifying new opportunities to develop digital public goods as well. They can provide increased public oversight, accessibility, and interoperability over data and digital infrastructure. Human rights and governance framework will enhance the trust in the technology and the data use while ensuring inclusion as well. Because digital public goods are universally accessible, they can also support innovation, economic, and workforce development. The digital equity pillar of the people-centered approach is about assessing and addressing the digital divide. The pillar looks at how to build equitable access to information and communication technologies. It has one main activity, which is to build a foundation of universal access to affordable internet, digital skills, and digital devices. It's important in this, there are 6 steps in this activity. They are to conduct a digital divide assessment, identify your digital divide taxonomy, co-create a digital inclusion plan, choose a framework for taking action, choose a financial model, and execute your plan. Meaningful participation in today's digital age requires a high-speed connectivity to the internet. Bridging the digital divide also requires tackling access and connectivity problems, as well as the skills and devices to represent meaningful participation. And hyperconnectivity is not the same as digital inclusion. Connectivity is a vehicle for increasing access to ICTs, but digital inclusion is about opening access, opening doors, increasing knowledge, and broadening horizons to help communities become more aware, engaged, and proactive. The digital infrastructure pillar of the people-centered approach is about building digital public infrastructure. It addresses how to drive inclusive digital transformation by developing systems, processes, and policies for managing data and digital services. There are 2 main activities, which is about improving the convenience and accessibility of service by digitizing them, and an activity around creating a data governance framework that sets the standards and responsibilities for effective and accountability and inclusion. The first activity in the infrastructure pillar is about improving the convenience and accessibility of service. Your goals in this activity will be to establish a digital service standards to guide your approach to digital service across the entire organization. Build your digital public infrastructure stack by starting with payments, digital identity, and data exchange as well. And the third main goal that you have in this activity is to build capacity and governance for digital public infrastructures. It's important that the digitization of public service can build public trust by increasing the accessibility, convenience, and efficiency of basic service. When digitizing a service, prioritize the user-centered design and digital equity. The second activity of the infrastructure pillar is about creating a data governance framework. Your focus will be on setting the rules for how your local government manages, uses, and secures data, including operational processes. It will also be on building public and internal data platforms that helps you operationalize your data governance directive. And also your focus will be on building a program to train city departments on your data governance directive and implement a data governance policy. Users should be placed at the center of public data architecture that gives individuals more autonomy over the use of personal sensitive information. Data collected without public consent poses a lot of human rights risks, and local governments should make provisions to own data collected or generated by technologies and make sure that non-sensitive data assets are accessible to public by convenient means. Data collection should be based on a public interest defined through participatory processes.